Welcome back. Jack McKenzie, creative director, alongside me today. So
I like the sound of that.
Yeah, no, I mean, we need to get you business cards. I think the chicks would love that. If you told them, like, I'm the creative director of a podcast company, they'd be like, oh, that's a very 2024 job.
Yeah. Makes me sound like an absolute douche.
No, I mean, like, that's the thing. Listen, Jack, you're the only single guy in this room. You know, Emery's got a girlfriend. Garrett and I are married.
Thank you for putting that out there.
Look, I want to put it out there. Look, ladies, there are 33 people watching the show live right now.
I'm willing to bet none of them.
At least one of them's got to be a 25-year-old broad.
The odds are not in your favor. I've seen our demographics.
Yeah. I mean, you know, maybe people have, like, Jack's a nice boy. He's good. He's, you know.
Let's not turn this into this. We were going to talk Project Rudy, Paul.
I do want to talk Project Rudy, but I do, you know, listen, if you have a nice, like, friend, neighbor, daughter who's between a 7 and a 9, I don't think Jack is able to handle the stress that comes with dating a 10, but like a 7 and a 9.
I don't handle stress that well.
like a 7.4. If you got like a 7.4,
you're having too much fun with this.
Send her Jack's way. I think they work out well. If below a 7, as long as it's in the 6s, like past 6.4, then I'm okay with that.
These are all Paul's words, not mine.
Yeah. So, anyway, let's talk about Project Rudy. Look, 2 people dropped. That was probably the 2 25-year-old broads that I just scared off.
Yeah, I doubt it.
Because using the term broads.
Yeah. Where would you rate Project Rudy on your 1 to 10 hotness scale?
I would rank it about a 7 right now, because it is the reason I like it is, one, it's the only one that's speaking the language that people will listen to, which is $9 billion, right? Like, they're going to say, like, here's upfront capital. I mean, I have problems with it, obviously. Like, there are things that aren't going to work out. But it is one that it feels like it has actual support from other people, and it's admitting where it's going to go. And it's the only one I think that can box Greg Sankey in, because they're going to have to.
You have to box Greg
You're going to have to box him in. So Tony Petitti doesn't say much because Greg Sankey's just out there to do the dirty work for him. But I think there's a lot of presidents and ADs in his conference that would prefer this, because they know where it's headed. If you go to, it's just the Big Ten and the SEC Super League. Yeah. It's not good, and it puts the dividing line in the financials where, you're going to have the group of 5 can have their own playoff. I think that's the only way it's sustainable. And Jack, part of the reason I'm glad that you're co-hosting with me today is you are a very big soccer enthusiast.
Yep.
Football
And we
enthusiast.
can start talking about the relegation and all that.
Yeah. Relegation, I don't think it's ever going to happen. I think that's always, like, thrown in there as like a...
Yep. But, like, it is an element of this when you get into that tiered structure for the payouts, because it's not an element of it in terms of competitive relegation. It's all financially tied.
Yeah.
But it still has some of the issues that actual competitive relegation has.
Yeah. So, what you'll find when you really start getting into, and I have recently started getting into watching more European football, and it's
you can call it soccer.
Yeah.
We're not snobs.
Okay, yeah. But watching soccer, like, the system is very cool. It's not what I don't think we can wrap our, like, normal American sports heads around it, because, like, playoffs is a good word in our parlance. In theirs, playoffs is bad.
Yeah, you're not typically in a good playoff.
It's at best medium news, right?
Yeah.
Like,
it means you didn't fully qualify, or you didn't like when good things happen, you've won it outright. There's no
the
best playoff is, hey, you missed out on automatic promotion, so you're trying to nab that last spot. Like, that's the best form of playoff.
Yeah, exactly.
In European soccer.
So that's a bad word in European soccer. And I do think, though, that college football is the thing that we have that most mirrors it as far as fan support goes.
Oh, absolutely.
It's watch any documentary on it, on any kind of team or town. The easiest one to find is Welcome to Wrexham, that they've done a really good job.
I would highly recommend. It's a YouTube channel, Copa 90. Their Derby Days series, or Derby Days.
Yeah.
That's how it's spelled. Amazing.
Yeah,
amazing
and
videos, and you really see how the culture. It's all these like kind of, for half of these teams, is like small towns, and like this is their life. These teams are everything to them. They grow up with it. It's the exact same thing as American college football.
Yeah, it really is, because that like, you know, a team that's in League One can play a team in the Championship League, like a team in the SEC can play a team in the Group of 5, and that team, like those fans are ravenous about it.
Mm-hmm.
As where, look, I'll just tell you, when the Cowboys play the Browns, I can tell you, Cowboys fans are just like, okay, we play the Browns this week. When's the next Eagles game? Like, that's where they're excited about it. But this, like, because it's your town, it's your home. It's not like, there are not, like, I'm sure there are, because there's big, massive, you know, billionaire-owned soccer clubs like Man City and all that have T-shirt fans that pop up in these little spots.
Plastics.
Yeah.
That's the term that's typically used.
Yeah, plastics. But for the most part, if you grow up in Reading, England, your football club is Reading.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it does not, like, and yeah, they may not be in the Premier League right now, but they've been there, you know, or, you know, Championship League is fine. And while everybody wants to get to the Premier League, everybody's thrilled that you win the championship that you win if you win it.
Yeah.
So if you win the National League, if you lead League
In
One,
fact,
League
a
Two,
lot of fans will talk about, like, we want our club to find its level, so we can have fun there.
Yeah,
like, we don't want to keep yo-yoing, trying to go up, having a season, coming back down right away.
Yeah.
So.
Well, yeah, because like you could be a team that's, you know, for a decade in the middle of the Championship League, make some good personnel moves, shoot up, win the Championship League, and go in, and then you do that yo-yo where you're not winning. It's not fun. Like, it's not as fun. But if you're in the Championship League and regularly winning or having a good time or contending, then that to me is a fair comparison for if you separate off and you have a G5 league and a G5 playoff. Garrett, I know you're big into this.
I think they should have had a G5 playoff.
Yeah. Like, if you have that, then eventually, like right now, in the instant part of it, it's not going to feel very good.
No, it's not going to feel good for anyone.
Over the long term, you're going to be like, well, actually, we win national championships now. Like, we win national championships. We can say, you know, San Diego State is the national champion of football.
Why does anyone think that, like, college football at the FCS level in the Dakotas is thriving as much as it is? People care. Yeah. Why do people care? They're winning championships. They know their level. They don't seem to want to move up to the FBS, and there have been plenty of windows here lately where they could. People want them because of their brand power, but they have brand power because of their success at their level.
Yeah. I think that, so if you can just follow that, and like, we're not great in America of taking ideas from other countries. We kind of like it to be our idea. But it worked. Like, if you really watch like how people care about the team in their town, it's very much like your alma mater. They don't have college sports like we do over there.
No.
It's a completely different thing because they've got 16-year-olds that play professional soccer and basketball and whatever sport they're great at. We, you know, our 16-year-olds are still in high school, and then they go to college and do that, so it's a little bit different. You know, yes, we pull in guys from different countries, and they play in our colleges as well because they're not quite good enough to be pros yet over there. So, you know, for every Luka Doncic, there's 100 other ones that are not that big a deal, right? You know, but they can come over here and play or whatever. So I think if you had this model of where you had 70 teams that were the league, and then you had the rest of the teams that were another league, and then you tiered it off and you created it, I think you could create more interest among that, because now you're not going like, oh, who's this, Georgia and App State? Like, I'm not going to watch that. Like, you know, I might turn on if I'm looking on my phone, like App State. Oh, App State's up by 7 with 5 minutes left. Let me watch this. But I'll watch the hell out of App State taking on San Diego State,
knowing what it means for their larger championship race, however
exactly.
that
like that
comes
could be
about.
a huge thing. Louisiana and FAU. Let's watch it because now it has real it has stakes that matter.
And that's not just for the people that are the sickos who want to care. Like, why do we televise the FCS National Championship and on ESPN rather when the rest of their season isn't televised on ESPN?
Mm-hmm.
It's because we care when the stakes are high.
Yeah.
So it's a good way of manufacturing higher stakes for more games.
Yeah.
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 So I think that's a smart way to do it. And yes, back to I think where we kind of jumped off was getting back to the Sankey of it all.
Yeah, the Sankey.
The problem he has to be backed into a corner.
You have to back him into a corner because right now he's saying, "I don't want why would I want this?"
At Media Days, didn't he say something about not wanting to cede their power, not wanting to bring in a middleman?
Yeah,
or maybe that was another SEC
that was what he said this week.
Yeah,
so I don't want to. Why would I do this? And you're like, well, I mean, the thing is
because
that pigs get fat and hogs get slaughtered, and right now they kind of look like a hog, right? I mean, am I wrong?
No, I mean, they are.
Yeah, I mean, so over time, the other thing is you need to, and another lesson we can learn from European soccer is this. When, not a leasing office, first time this week. So one of the things you can learn from it is they tried the whole, hey, you know what? We've been doing the Premier League and, La Liga, all these. We've been doing these for a while. What can we do to take this up a notch? Let's talk to some billionaires. Let's get all the billionaires together and let's make a super league of AC Milan and Man City and Barcelona and all that stuff. So let's make a super league. Well, the fans, particularly in England, England was the maddest about it, but I would venture to guess that France and Italy and Spain were not far behind. But
definitely not Germany, where they have a rule that 50% of your club has to be owned by the fans.
Yeah. So you had all this, and then they're like, yeah, we don't want you can play them whenever we'll love it when you play them.
Another very big similarity to college football and the regionality that we started to lose is fans don't want their clubs playing someone halfway across the continent every week, and those are the only games because away days are a big part of the culture.
Yeah.
Having ticket prices that you can stomach for the average working class person to have season tickets is something that college football's already lost that, but the roots were there. Those are the same roots.
This is Man U fans who are the Cowboy fans of and the Yankee fans of soccer saying no. We'll play PSG in a friendly, or we'll play them in whatever this other thing is.
We have the Champions League. We don't need a super league.
Yeah, we'll play them in the Champions League. It's fine. We like that. That's kind of like our bowl games, right? Here's your bowl games. PSG and Man City are going to play. Great. All right, but Man City and Man U, they want to play Leicester City. Their fans want to go beat up on Leicester City.
Yeah.
And they want to go to these places where they see people as where, oh, well, I mean, I've been to Paris a couple times, on a school trip or, on my honeymoon, but I'm not going to go there, So when you have this Super League, so if you say it's the SEC and Big Ten, do Florida fans care about playing Indiana? And reverse? Do Rutgers fans care about playing A&M and reverse? No, but they sure would care about playing.
If those are going to be your non-conference games and you're going to fill up your entire non-conference slate with games like that, that's pretty good for your non-conference slate.
Yeah, but then
but that's the thing. The non-conference slate is essentially, and I don't know how many people will be able to bear with me through this, but is the equivalent of the Champions League in that You're trying to schedule at least one big name team that you don't normally play in your normal league. And then you have a couple others to fill up that are hopefully wins. Champions League, you have your group of death every year. Like, that would be your non-conference slate where you've got 3 really good Power 5 teams. But most years, you're in a fairly balanced group where you've got your mega great championship quality team, and then maybe you're the middling team. There's one other middling team, and then there's a crap team that you're going to beat up on. And that's in the Champions League.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you're trying to form a break somewhere in college football, I think the 70 mark or 60, I don't know who Garrett was talking before this. I don't know who makes it from 68
maybe
in the Power
that's
4
the
up to
relegation
70.
of like there's 2 teams that like
That'd
drop
be
and
interesting.
come up.
But I think 70 is a smart place to do it. The Rudy, one thing that I like about Project Rudy is that I think it protects the status quo for a lot of decision makers at universities, not necessarily athletic directors, but for university presidents and the like. I think it protects the status quo in a way that they are, and bear with me, violently craving, I think.
Yeah.
Like I think a lot of people can see, I think the average Joe can see the potential to disrupt our literal higher education system that college football is on the precipice of right now.
Yeah.
And so I wouldn't be surprised if there are a lot of important decision makers who are going to end up trying to back Sankey into a corner, because this plan seems, while you do bring in outside investors, it does seem to protect the status quo in a more predictable way that I think university presidents can stomach, that a lot of athletic directors who aren't at the top tier, that they'd be very happy to see.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I think that you have to start meeting, like, eventually they had to start listening to us on the playoff, right? Like, there were a lot of bad things that happened during COVID. One of the good things that happened was it made them all sit in a room, like, and go, how do we get out of this financial hole? And like, what have the fans been saying for all this time about this playoff?
Larger playoff.
Yeah, give us more of a playoff. And then they go to the TV networks and like, hey, we've never asked you this. Feels stupid that we haven't, but since we're just sitting here in our own houses right now, we just had some time to think. And would you give us more money? And they're like, we've been saying it. Yes, give us more. Like, this is the only thing we can put on live that's going to make us money.
I still just kind of wonder if, because I do believe that they asked those questions. I just want to know, how much did the SEC block that until they knew they were in a position to try and bargain for what they wanted?
I don't think the SEC ever blocked it. It was Jim Delaney in the Big Ten that was really, Jim Delaney was against it. I think because he saw what was happening in the SEC and he's like, hold on, wait, I've been kind of the boss of this for a while. You know, like, we've kind of been this, and if we don't slow our roll here, you know, on the play, like, everybody wants another playoff, then, like, you know, Oklahoma State might be in this thing. Oh my God, I can't have that. Like,
okay, like, different person, same sentiment to me. Like,
yeah, he was more.
You're holding off on what the fans want because you want to protect your very specific limited interests of the people who already have the most.
Or, like, again, I think Jim Delaney wanted it to be like, he didn't want it to change because this is what he thought that college athletics should be. And the thing is, when you let more money in the door, eventually
it's going to change.
He's not going to change. It lets more influence in the door of, now there's more people who can tell you what to do, and there's going to be more people asking for that money. And the people specifically that they didn't want to give it to was the players. So
don't get me started on all that.
That was what it was. That was all these factors of it about, because
I'm still annoyed that the players were like, we see the TV money. We want TV money. Okay, you can have money. It's not the TV money. It's boosters money.
Yeah.
So don't get me started on that.
Yeah. Well, that's why they had to go to court for it, because, you know, they're like, well, you know, they're like everywhere else, like, some of the TV money goes to the players, and like, yeah, but they're in school, and they're like, yeah, that made sense when, like, you know, nobody had this much money and there was one college football game on a week, but now they're all on, and they read the paper too, and they can see that you have a $7 billion television deal, and then you're like, oh, we're not for profit. And you're like, well, I mean, all right, so you guys are going to spend $7 billion and $1
I'm sorry,
every
why
year?
do we have a
Whatever,
stadium with a capacity of 100,000 people who come here to see me and my buddies play?
and pay $6 for a Coke?
And you guys, they say I'm only good for tuition, maybe room and board.
Yeah.
Like
all these things, like, when you go and you go to a stadium and you pay, like, I can tell you that Sprite does not cost $5. Even this much Sprite does not cost $5. The cup that it's in definitely does not cost $5 and was made in a country where $5 makes that guy's day.
See, now you're just reminding me that soda prices have gone up at the grocery store. I'm not a fan of that.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But, like, I know how much this costs. Just like when I'm at the movies and I'm like, well, I really do want this slushie, so I'm going to have to pay movie prices because I can't make my own slushie and smuggle it in. Doesn't carry well in cargo shorts. The only reason to have cargo shorts anymore is the movies. Am I wrong?
No, that tracks.
Here's the thing. You can go.
I don't know why you'd like to wear shorts to a movie. It's cold in there.
Or cargo pants.
Yeah.
But,
come on.
Cargo pants in the movies.
Cargo pants, baggy hoodie.
Yeah, that's where
you can sneak a lot of stuff in.
Yeah, the only thing, like, look, if I only have to give them money for the drink and the hot popcorn, then I'm good with that. But if I've got to get Junior Mints for $7, I'm pretty pissed off about that.
$7 for a candy. Jeez.
Oh, they can be quite refreshing.
Oh, trust me, I'm not.
I don't think they're like.
I'm not against them like I'm against Almond Joys. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Here. But like, they're better options.
As a 2-hour movie candy, I'm not sure if a Junior Mint's really the right
That's
thing.
why I'm sad that I can't find Gobstoppers anywhere anymore. That was my go-to movie candy.
Yeah.
They last a long time.
Yeah,
they make me slow down.
Yeah. Yeah. No. I don't like, here's another thing, and this is neither here nor there. I'm a big M&M's fan. And you can either buy M&M's in, like, the bag, like the big bag, which makes sense. I dump them in the popcorn. It's a lovely thing. But sometimes they don't have them in the big bag, and you're like, oh, give me that box of M&M's. And it's just a regular size bag of M&M's inside the box. That, to me, I don't.
What is that?
No, that's something, I'll tell you, in a Paul Catalina administration, that doesn't happen. We take that on. We take that on. Just like chips, we're big on chip integrity. No broken chips, like chip packaging. Those are things.
Will you have limits on the amount of air allowed to remain in the packages?
Yes, we will. We might put recommendations on how thick the bag has to be, or maybe you start selling chips in boxes.
Interesting.
I mean, Pringles has been doing it in a can forever. Why are we ignoring the geniuses at Pringles?
Yeah, honestly.
I mean,
I don't know if they're technically potato chips, but
these are issues. These are issues I can deal with. Now,
I think I might want to live in Paul Catalina's America.
Yeah, these are issues I personally can deal with. Now, if it comes to, like, right now, if, like, hey, what do you do about getting Congress to approve FEMA money?
Yeah, shut up. We're talking about chips. We're talking about snacks.
Listen, all the people affected by the hurricane will have chips that are not broken. That's what I can promise you.
And it's the little things that keep it makes life worth living.
Yeah, those things. Like, hey,
suicide rates under the Paul Catalina administration going down.
Yeah. What about infrastructure? I'll be like, build some roads.
We will have what we need to get the chips to the people intact.
Exactly.
And on time.
If that means, like, oh, hey, we've got to build a better road to make sure the chips don't break, then these are simple things that came behind. We've got to meet people on their level. I think a lot of people don't understand how government works. I'm just going to meet them on their level and then trick them into doing things that are better for the society. So,
let's do it.
Like, oh, man, like, for example, there will be no such thing as a spam call ever in a Paul Catalina administration. No such thing as a spam email, a spam call, nothing. The only spam you will be able to eat comes in a can, and that's it.
I'm really hungry because now I want spam. Jeez,
Yeah,
I've got
there
a
we go.
problem, guys.
Yeah.
I'm going to get food after this.
That is what you can expect in my administration. I've heard none of the candidates, not even RFK Jr., mention we're going to get rid of spam.
They're not meeting the people where they're at.
Exactly. Not one of them. Not one of them. We're going to get rid of spam. There would be no spam. You would not get you wouldn't even need the spam filter on your phone because it would be a thing that was illegal. We can't broker, like information brokering, gone. I can go to a website and I can look up the score of the Spurs game and not have to hit reject unnecessary cookies. I would like that in my life, where I just want to see the score of a preseason basketball game and who might have played more, just because I'm curious to follow my team. Like, oh, well, that was interesting. He scored 19. Maybe that means he'll see more time off the bench. But until I get there, I've got to close 4 pop-up windows about what information they're allowed to sell, because I want to know what a preseason basketball score was. No. That doesn't happen in Paul Catalina's America. My vice president will be someone you all like, too. I have no idea who that'll be, but I'll pick a very well-liked celebrity like Bill Hader or something.
Yeah. Good call. That would be a fun campaign trail.
Exactly. So, I don't know. But anyway.
Be interested to see what Pete Davidson could do for your polling numbers.
Oh, man. I don't know. Maybe more that emotionality that I want to deal with. But
yeah, but it wouldn't be a dull moment.
No, it would not be. It would not be. Although I do think we're due some dull moments in politics. I liked it when it was dull. Dull was fun. You remember when people I didn't like care that much, and you may
people
not.
just like tried to run the country and not make everything the end of the world.
Yeah, no, it was great. Those were good times.
I don't. I'm young.
Yeah, no, it's great. Like you would never turn on C-SPAN and see somebody talking about space lasers. It just never happened. So, I mean, just say it. Usually, you'd just be a guy going like, "We need Prop 45 to pass because the bridge between Washington D.C. and Virginia is taking on more water, and over the time, as you see on this chart, we'll be paying more money. So I asked my fellow congresspeople to vote for the passage of this bill so that we can fix this bridge. Thank you." Or, "I would like today to be deemed Ray Charles Day in America because this is his birthday and he did so much." As we know, Rachel, that was what it was. It's not that anymore. But to sum up, if you had to vote on Project Rudy, would you say yes? With stipulations like knowing that the proposal they're making is not the proposal that's going to get through.
I would say yes, and it's mainly because there's going to be a break of some type. I don't think the 136 or whatever it is FBS is going to remain that size.
Yeah.
So I'd rather the break be at 70 than anywhere smaller.
Yeah.
I think 70 does a decent job of protecting what we have right now, because I've already think we've lost a decent bit of what we've loved growing up.
Yeah, exactly. So let's try to compromise on what it can be, because we know it's going to change.
I'm not a fan of private equity. I'm not a fan of I'm not a fan of bringing in outside people with a lot of control, but frankly, I'm not a fan of people in control right now. So
no. Well, I mean, just as long as it doesn't get very like FIFA, then we're okay.
No corruption, please.
Yeah. Let's please not shake down entire countries for a 2-week event. It's like a month. But I guess I'm thinking about the Olympics, 2 to 3 week event, FIFA and the IOC they were shaking down countries.
Yep. Kind of ridiculous.
Yeah.
By kind, I mean absolutely.
Yeah. Just if you ever get to go to Brazil, they should sell a
ghost town tour?
A ghost town of the World Cup tour, where cities are like, well,
I thought you were talking about the Olympics.
No, yeah, they can do that too. Yeah. But Brazil is funny. I saw this thing where they built all these extra stadiums in Brazil.
Yeah.
Instead of just staggering the schedule to where there's already a bunch of stadiums there, where you could just okay, well, if we made this 4 days longer, we could just have them all here in these 10 stadiums, as opposed to building 10 more that are not going to get used once we all leave. And now it's school bus depots, or it's just gone back to nature. Okay, what are we going to do here? Well, in the summertime, we don't have a place to park all the school buses for 2 months. So this is where they are, in the stadium that hosted the World Cup semifinal.
Jeez.
Zinedine Zidane played in this spot where where this bus now sits.
So what say you though about like would you vote yes?
I'd vote for something like that. I think this is the most reasonable plan we've heard, and it has the most it's got people who understand the TV business and the college football business backing it, and it's not some weird reorganization of where we've got conferences that are non-starters, like that College Sports Tomorrow was like, hey, maybe A&M and Texas want to play Baylor again. No, they very demonstratively decided that they didn't want to. So just telling them hey guys, you know how you ran away screaming from playing the other schools in Texas? No, now you're going to do that.
I've got a question for another time though. It's just do they run away screaming for locking in competitive advantages? Do they run away screaming for money? Why exactly did they run away, and has any of that changed? That's not something we have to get into now.
No, but it's true. But they didn't. They clearly were well, I'd rather play LSU, so that's why we're going there. And it was really, or in A&M's case, it was, we don't want to deal with Texas anymore, and so we're just going to leave.
Which honestly is pretty fair.
Yeah, I get it.
Who wants to deal with Texas that?
I just have a feeling. I always wondered,
especially when they hate you the most.
I was A&M power brokers, walking around the SEC meetings, after that decision was made, I don't think you guys know what you just did. You don't know. And no, Texas seems cool. Yeah, they seem cool.
Oh,
they seem cool. But wait,
honey.
But wait,
sweetie.
But wait,
no.
But wait, yeah, they seem cool. Yeah, great. Matthew McConaughey's there. Oh yeah, it's fun. Oh yeah. Oh cool. It's in Austin. Austin's got a cool city. There's live music and comedy, and it's good restaurants. Yeah, that'll be fun. Okay, all right.
They got them crazy ads.
Yeah, invite them to the party and see what happens. Just have them here at New Year's, and you tell me you want to come back next New Year. No, you don't. You don't. They're gonna ruin this whole thing. They're gonna get you in a corner and start talking about some kind of weird thing you don't care about and you can't get out of. And then all of a sudden you're yeah, I guess we'll vote for that because I want them to shut up. And then it's over. That's when they've got you.